What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dirty Blonde. And no, you are not listening to a Chipmunks movie. I indeed just am getting over a nose job. So this podcast is very much at the moment. I tend not to have pre-recorded because things just happen at last minute and I want to make sure I mention it and that we talk about it. And well, this happened last week, so I apologize for the delay, but we are here. I am healing, feeling amazing, and ready to tackle this particular subject that is quite evident in the adult industry. And I think it's super important because there's just some things I just want to get off my chest. And that is all about the scammers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we get catfished all the fucking time. And I think it's time that we put it to rest. So grab a drink, or if you're headed home from work, or if you're headed to work, just listen. And stay tuned as we continue this week's episode. Your place is So one of the things that I really do appreciate about where we are in history is digital era. We have so much information handy to us at any time. I mean, the fact that you can see one of my videos in the middle of a, baseball game, if you're bored, just off your phone, or if you're just walking around and you want to take some photos and share it with your family that's in the other side of the world. It's just amazing how technology really is not only advanced, but just at our fingertips. It's wild. It's something definitely to acknowledge, and it's something to adapt to. And with that comes extra problems. When I was thinking about the adult industry and how it was many generations ago, and I'm talking about the Ron Jeremy days, the Jenna Jameson days, so many of those porn stars were not accessible. Basically, the only time you saw anyone was at a convention or at a show if they were at your local strip club, or on Howard Stern, or not, maybe if you were lucky and they were at your local supermarket. But the access to them on a daily basis, even to any of your favorite celebrities as it is now, is something that is unreal. Imagine, who's a top performer for me? Not even so much in the industry, but obviously I love Marilyn Monroe, Grace Kelly, Bridget Bardot, Pamela Anderson, but that's modern times. Cary Grant. Cary Grant is such a dapper and such a Hollywood man. Could you imagine as a female sliding into his DMs in the 1950s? Or imagine you sliding into Betty Page's DM, or your favorite Hollywood starlet, which at those times, because Marilyn Monroe, as we all know, was the very first cover girl for Playboy. So imagine having this contact with them. It's, I think, what made them that much more movie star-like. And when I've mentioned in previous episodes how much I really don't like the word porn star, because the attributes that, in my opinion, really make up a porn star just don't exist anymore. We don't have that allure, and it's really more of an adult performer who's maybe really popular. And now with OnlyFans, where does the line end? Where does it what aspect does it make you a regular girl or a regular guy who's just doing it for fun versus a damn near porn star or, adult performer? So it's a really exciting and interesting time. And like I said, with that comes a lot of extra issues. And the biggest issue that the industry has faced, not so much amongst other things, but a really top one within social media, is the scammers, the catfishing. Holy shit, you guys. If one more of you sends a person that's not the performer money, I will probably have to spank you really hard. I'm trying to wrap my head around what it is that makes these fake profiles become alive. How is it that they get even up there? As we all know, the censorship on all social media platforms when it comes to the adult industry is vast. It's prominent. It's there. You can't even breathe. Not that I can't right now, but you can't even breathe on Instagram and show a nipple, and because you'll be taken down if you're a performer. But as mentioned earlier in other episodes, it's nothing new to you. Mainstream gets away with murder. And if one of us were to do what these fake profiles get away with, we would be shut down. AKA, they show everything. And then they pretend to be us. And then they pretend to have these conversations on Instagram. And now you're sending money because obviously the way so many fans show support and they show their love is by paying for their entertainment. And I just don't understand how they get away with it. So as I was doing some digging and some research, there's quite a few just of my own. And a lot of my fellow coworkers are even worse. About a year or two ago, this is what happened. I was in New York City and I'm just like, walking around and really taking in the sights, minding my own business. And I get a tap on the shoulder. Now, to come up to someone like that is aggressive. I tend to be pretty light on my feet. I tend to be very aware of my surroundings. I've been taught for quite a bit of self-defense, so I ain't scared. But when you are in my line of work and you have a presence on social media where I don't consider myself a celebrity, but I do have a following and I am present on socials and on the internet, etc. So I consider myself to be just a little bit more recognized. Not by everyone, of course. So for that to happen, that took balls. But it wasn't a dude, it was a chick. And I turned around and I thought it was someone from maybe my old college days or something. And she's like, Bridget? I'm like, yeah, do I know you? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing you right now. We were just talking about how we were going to come and meet up in New York, or I think she said New York or Philly. I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, I was asking you some questions about makeup, and then you started telling me that you were going to meet up with me when you came to the East Coast. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I indeed did have to excuse myself because I was late for a very sexy date. Anyway, so when this happened, I was like, this is a bigger problem than I even thought. So we're going to take now a couple of looks as to what you can do to protect yourself. Because the last thing that we as an industry, which I am so proud of, is any of our fans to be taken advantage of. We don't want that. And especially our true and loving, we fuck with you all. We really do. So what is some things that you can do? Number one, don't engage when being approached. I can basically guarantee in a 99.99 percentile that unless you have a previous actual rapport with someone, they're not going to talk to you. And that's just basic. I mean, if anyone was at a coffee shop or at a bar, the odds of someone having a long-standing conversation out of thin air is not going to happen, right? You have to go in and say hi and introduce yourself. So if you're doing that online and you get an answer like, what's up, baby? How you you doing, the odds are that it's not that celebrity. There's quite a few DMs and it's just not going to get paid attention to. And that's just cold hard facts. Another thing you can look at is who they're following. And if they're following everyone and their mother, you can pretty much almost guarantee it's not the person. Is there a blue check mark? What comments are they making? And at some point, you have to really consolidate all the information that you have and come with a smart conclusion that if this performer is asking for gift certificates to Cracker Barrel, I don't think it's her. And for the industry as a whole, I can vouch that we have a lot more respect for all of you than most people give us credit for, especially the OGs, especially the ones who've been in the game for a minute. And that type of a personality shouldn't be in the industry. That's just something else. And if you can decipher a couple of these things before you get yourself so heavily involved on Instagram or on Twitter, then you could protect yourself more. And that's just basically what I am trying to get out there. And I have no problems if people are wanting to communicate because we have platforms for that, aka OnlyFans. But for these scammers to do this to you all, it just boggles my mind, just beyond. And why is it that social media people that have the platforms don't censor them? And what they have on their shit is a lot worse than any of us even look at. So that's just my little, PSA of the day of the week for you guys. I'm looking out for you. And of course, let's now talk about the elephant in the room. I really hope it doesn't sound like so horrible, but I did in fact get a little tweak and I love it. I'm so excited to show it off. I'm going to have a live show as of tomorrow on my OnlyFans on like about 12 noon Pacific Standard Time to do a nice big reveal and have fun with you guys. And then I am done. One of the things that I get asked so much is, how stressful is it to constantly be caring about your outer appearance? And I'm like, it's so much more than that. It makes me sound like I'm a shallow slut. And it's like, no, it's not that it's so important. It's just that to succeed, there's certain things you have to do for yourself, whatever that means. Some people, it's go to college. Some people, it's go get your master's. Some people, it's do this or that. For me, it's feeling my best and looking as sexy as fuck. So with that being said, enjoy the YouTube of my journey through this entire process. It means so much to me that you guys are loving it over there. We have so much more fun coming. And because of the state of the nose, this might be one of the shorter podcasts, but I'm trying to definitely make sure that I'm transparent and I'm extremely honest, always. So thank you so much for listening. Again, I hope it was a little bit of insight as to don't get catfished. My loves, just don't. Ignore them. And stay tuned next week for brand new episode, brand new YouTube, and love you. Have a very, very sexy weekend. Mwah. Bye. Time's been moving slowly.